your latest 250,000 for Bitcoin, but within a 5-year window, which I have to say is not as bullish as other guests who I've had on, calling for that target this year alone.
One of the challenges we have for all assets is the value of something is relatively easy to determine. The hard part is the price, because the price, as I stole a line from John Burbank, the famous hedge fund manager, price is a liar. And price is simply what two people decide to exchange a small amount of any asset for. It has nothing to do with the value. Same thing true with Bitcoin's price. It's rarely on the value. And so my forecast is really about the value of the network. Long story short, it said it'd be $10,000 in value in November of 2017. Pretty good call. We hit it almost 6 days to the day. But then the price went all the way to 20,000 and then crashed all the way to 3,000. So the price was very different than the value. This same model says the value by July of this year will be around $100,000. And out 5 years from now, it'll be $250,000. Now, what is possible, I won't say likely, but it's certainly possible, that like in 2017 and like in 2013, the price goes much above value in the fall of this year, because individuals come in. The original owners of any asset are investors, right? They buy it because it's below its fair value and they want to hold it for the long term. And then as things start to move, the traders come in. And the traders are looking for things that are moving in one direction or another and have a shorter duration of hold. The problem is when the speculators come in. When the speculators come in, they only buy what's moving. And they really only buy what's moving up. And they use leverage. And so what happens is they push the price way above fair value. And in this latest cycle, in December, January, they had some gamblers show up. And gamblers usually don't play in financial markets, right? They usually go to Vegas or gamble online. But because of the lockdowns with COVID, they didn't have any place else to go. So they gambled in the stock market, like GameStop and AMC, and they gambled in crypto. And that's why I think we got a little further away from fair value in the last couple of months than we should have. And that's why we've had this kind of vicious correction here recently. I tweeted about this a while ago. Look, if you bought something because the price was moving up and the price starts going down, you will sell it, right? Because you have no conviction, you have no courage, you did no work. It doesn't make you a bad person. It just acknowledge it for what it is. It's speculation or gambling. If you're an investor and the price of an asset falls to a level that you believe is below the fair value, right, not only will you not sell, you'll buy more. If Bitcoin truly is, and I will argue it is, digital gold,
right,
meaning it has all the attributes of gold as a store of value with three superior elements. It's more portable, right? All the gold in the world fits into Olympic-sized swimming pools. All the Bitcoin in the world fits right here. Now, I don't have all the Bitcoin in the world, so don't SIM swap me. But it could all fit there. So it's more portable. It's also more divisible. I can divide a Bitcoin into, 2.1 quadrillion, which is why my hashtag on Twitter is hashtag 2.1 quadrillion after my name, 2.1 quadrillion Satoshis. So 100 million Satoshis per Bitcoin. So we can put that division of value to a very fine point. And then third, it's less costly to secure, right? Putting your gold bars in a Swiss vault, pretty expensive, pretty bulky. Securing your Bitcoin in a good custodian or cold storage is pretty easy.
But the missing part of that puzzle that the gold bugs would argue, Mark, is the volatility that, yes, has worked in Bitcoin's favor. But if you're looking at it in terms of wealth preservation, and I know you say it's more than a token of value, but if we look at the recent correction, right, and someone who's maybe in their late 70s or 80s and had Bitcoin as a wealth preservation, does that not make a more solid case to own gold?
It's a great try, and I give them credit. But no, here's why. The duration is wrong. So Bitcoin's been an asset for 13 years, right? Mm-hmm. Every year, except for one, the low for the year is higher. So it's actually been a perfect store of value, meaning it has held its value relative to the devaluing dollar. Because part of the reason Bitcoin price is rising is not because Bitcoin's getting better. It's like I ask people all the time, what's the lowest price you remember for a gallon of gas? And you're too young, but when I was growing up, it was 31 cents. Okay, 31 cents for a gallon of gas. When I went to visit my daughter in California before the lockdown, I paid $4.31. Same gallon of gas, does the exact same thing, didn't get better over that 50 years, but it costs more because the value of the currency is less. So part of Bitcoin's rise or gold's rise is not that they're getting better, it's that the dollar's getting worse. And so this argument about volatility is silly because you're looking at the wrong time horizon. If we look at a day or a week or a month, lots of volatility. But the fact of the matter is, gold in 2011 was $1,900. By 2015, it was $1,100. Lost 40% of its value. Did it cease being a store of value? No. It just meant the price maybe was being manipulated, some might say, by the big banks or whoever, or supply and demand were out of whack, or too much supply came out, whatever it was. That was very volatile on a 4-year time horizon, lost 40% of its value. Now, the fact that Bitcoin does it in a week, yes, it's more volatile, but that's because volatility in price is an indication of the average marginal buyer or seller not understanding value. I actually have a bad feeling that Elon not only is not telling the truth about not selling, because maybe he didn't sell the Bitcoin, but he just used futures to hedge it. My guess is that he was buying one of those two big wallets at the bottom. But we'll see. He has to.
I had a feeling you were going to go there, and a lot of people are speculating that. Should he? He's just toying with investors at this point, though, Mark.
Look, unfortunately, right, for decades, right? This is not new. For decades, people have been manipulating markets, right? They used to do it with newspaper articles back in the good old days. They did it with bulletin boards in 2000. There was a 16-year-old kid who got arrested and fined hundreds of thousands of dollars by the SEC for committing, just what the Redditors are doing now. He would post positive stories after he was already long, and then he would post a negative story and make the stock go down. So it's not illegal, right? I think it maybe should be, but it's not. Because it's not insider trading, as long as you're not trading your own stock. But it is
manipulation. Just one final point comparing the Bitcoin to gold story. We've seen Bitcoin chip away at gold's market cap, and JP Morgan just put out a note saying that there's been a reversal of this, but most people have a funny feeling that it will continue to chip away at gold. If this is the case, my question to you is basically, can they both just coexist? Do you not see?
Absolutely coexist, because they play different roles. Look, no one can say with certainty that we're not going to have a Mad Max event someday, right? Where the power grid's off and people are and that's when physical gold, right? Lots of stories of wars and conflicts where your earrings or your candlesticks or your gold coins got you through. Is there a role for a digital form of that same asset, which is a diversifier for a portion of your wealth? Right? I've never told everyone to take all your fiat and convert it to Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other cryptocurrency. I think you should take a portion of your currencies, right? Convert them to hard money, gold, silver, crypto, opt out for a portion to protect your wealth against what I call the fiat fiasco. The central governments around the world are going to print money. They have no choice. When you get too far in debt, which is how every empire in the history of mankind has failed, you must either pay it back, default on it, restructure it, or inflate it away. Those are your only 4 options. We can't pay it back. There's not enough taxes. If you taxed everybody 100%, we couldn't pay back the debt. So they can't do that. To restructure something, you have to have somebody who would take the deal. We don't have that. You could default on it, but then you get kicked out of office. So no politician is going to vote for that. So your only choice is to devalue. So every Western nation, which is highly indebted, Japan, Europe, US, etc., will devalue their currency.